All right, we're gonna make a Darling ROE beat. The things you learn during this will help your production. You can't go wrong with R&B, but Darling ROE isn't just R&B. She also has some funk music, and a lot of her drums have that like West Coast, hip hop kind of bounce going on to them, more like that trap kind of feel to the drum. Please smash that like button and subscribe, and let's get started. So most of our music's between 180 or 190 beats per minute. It's going to be 90 or 95 BPM. We're going to go with the 190 because we want to keep this fast and keep the drums kind of jumping when we get done with it. The keys that we're going to go with is going to be A minor. So that's going to be all the white keys starting from A. Okay, this is the 6th scale degree of C major. The reason that we're going to use this is because it gives us the awesome option of adding a sharp 7 like this. And we can change between. Gonna add a little bit of a spice and a feeling to it. To make this song, we're gonna use 11th chords. And it's an 11th because we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's our 11 right here. We just add a space between all of them. Okay, under that would be a 9th. We drop this one, becomes a 9th. Drop it again, it's a 7th. And these are the chords that we're gonna use for this. So far, this is what we've got. And you're like, okay, well, that's not even done. It's not finished with the 8 bars. And that's because at the end of this, we're gonna put what's called a 2-5-1, which basically means we're gonna play the 2 chord, the 5 chord, and the 1 chord. So now that we have that, we're going to take the higher notes out of the chords and we're going to invert them and bring them down an octave. The reason we're doing this is because the ROE type beats that I listen to are generally all darker, less high-end notes, kind of like Drake songs. Didn't sound as downsampled though, so we're just going to do it by actually changing our composition rather than just adding an effect. And because we're doing this, I'm going to take away the strumming feeling to these chords. Now that we did that, we're going to add the bass notes an octave down. So on this third one, we've got this B here on the bottom, but that's not our bass note. Remember, we inverted it. So our D is going to be our bass note because this was originally up here. All right, now that we have that, we're going to move that over to some Rhodes or something that's a little bit darker and less tangy. Now we're going to find a really wide and interesting sample to throw over the top of those Rhodes. I've noticed that most of the songs either have a full sample of something just all together, or it's got some really spacey feeling with something very unique in it. That's pretty awesome. So now we're just going to add some little accents, and we want to make them come in and be wider than the rest of the sample. That's something I noticed that was a constant, is we have our sample sitting there in the middle, and then something will come in and be wider and go away. And it's only there for a second. It just accents the sample. For the drums, we want thick, trappy sounds, but still kind of an R&B feeling, so more mid-range. and just full. So we're going to see what we can find. We'll start with the snare. Next thing is hi-hats. We're going to do fast ones, and we're going to chop those up to give us a bunch of craziness going on. Then we're going to take away the consistency of it, and then we'll add some percussion to get it jumping after that, and then we'll fill in the quicker hi-hats back in behind it. And we're doing that because we don't want the busyness of the hi-hats to take away from us choosing that rhythm and feeling with our percussion and the quicker and crazier trap hats that we got going on. So check. So now that we got the drums kind of jumping and moving, we are going to add a bass. Now, I've noticed that the bass in these tracks is a lot of 808s and slides, and it's different basses, but it's got this really fast movement, even if it's a slow movement, if that makes sense. So we're going to start off with some basics and a little bit of basics like for R&B, and then we're going to add a bunch after that. So this is why we did the minor scale for the most part. We're going to hit all of our root notes. We're going to play some in-between notes, just walking whatever direction we want to go. And then at the end, when we're coming back to the beginning, we're going to play that seventh. We're going to play that sharp seventh note. We didn't play it in the rest of the song. We did not do a sharp seven, but you will see how it sounds. And that's going to be this note here. A is going to be our home. We're going to step it up. And you'll see how that sounds with the song. Like that. And now I'm going to fix up the notes however I feel like I want to, and then start trying to speed it up. Not sure it's going to be the final bass. If you listen to the end, you'll end up hearing whether or not it ends up being the final bass. Thicken and excite the drums. We're going to do that in a drum bus. So now we're going to structure it, and I'm going to downsample it in certain sections. I'll probably play all of the samples at their normal sample rate, and then when the hook and verse starts, I'll probably downsample some of them to kind of move the high end out of the way. Darling ROE tracks seem to be full in the lower end, and the high end kind of moved out of the way like Drake tracks. And to summarize, the sample was in A minor, any minor will do, BPM of 190, and thicker trap drums to kind of have things jumping, and then we'll do a bass, and we'll take that bass and make it a little bit more active. If you liked, please like. If you have any comments, please comment. I always appreciate a subscribe. This is Warren with Scale Audio, and adios.